Our new moon in Scorpio slash Diwali event, which I forgot to grab my Diwali candle. I know. It's here somewhere, but we are celebrating both tonight because Diwali actually was yesterday. I was live with my students last night and we were kind of laughing because there was a Diwali party happening in my neighborhood and they were playing Thriller. And I was like, well, this isn't kind of the Diwali music I always imagine for a Diwali party, but Diwali always lands on the new moon in November. It's just how the timing goes. And I'm going to tell you, so welcome in first of all. If you're new, it's wonderful to have you here. I'm just going to move this so I can see how many of you are here. The new moon in Scorpio is quite a moon, and it's wonderful to have a new moon finally with no eclipse activity so we can set intentions. So Karen says we do have new folks. Welcome in. I'm so happy you're here. Go grab a friend. Let them know we're live. Tonight's ceremony is going to be really fun. And especially if you have heavy, dense energy that you need to move and shift. And I'm just going to say this. If you don't, after those eclipses, I'm just really happy for you. The rest of us have been kind of in a cosmic litter box. So it's really time to clear it out and clean it out. And that's what we do at the new moon. So if you've been with me for a minute, I've been doing this for 12 years, but if you're new, there's never a wrong time to join our community. We're so glad that you're here. We do two things at the new moon. We set intentions and we release. We don't release at the full moon because the full moon isn't when she's releasing, right? At her fullest, the moon is big and full and the light is strongest, right? I love it because I can go outside at night and I don't need to turn on lights, right? It's just like everything is illuminated. At the new moon, we have none of that, especially last night. The night before the new moon is technically the biggest magic. It's called the dark moon, but we always celebrate on the night of the new moon. And so if you are here to clear some stuff out, do a little roto-rootering of your pipes. Oh, Scorpio is an expert in this area, of course. How many moon Scorpio people do I have? It's my daughter's moon sign. So it's one I've come to know well by virtue of parenting. Having a child with a Scorpio moon is a very intense roller coaster. But it's also really cool to see, because she's a Pisces sun, how she balances all of that like water energy, but it's so different, right? Pisces is all about imagination and dreams, and Cancer is all about home and family and connection and tethering, and then Scorpio is about mystery, transformation, death, and rebirth. So I love all y'all Scorpios. I really do. It's your birthday season. It's your moon tonight. The world wouldn't be the same without you. The thing about Scorpio is, in my experience, you can feel free to debate me on it. It will be a lively debate. I think there is part of Scorpio that you never get to know, and I think it's because they're also getting to know it. There's such mystery in you that I feel like, and I find it very sexy. You can't get to the bottom of Scorpio. It's like every time you think you've gotten there, some other layer. Oh yes, Jamie's like, you already know. I do know, and I have big respect for it because I'll be honest with you, people who are easy. I'm a very difficult person myself. I am a challenging person. I was just reflecting on it today. I have high expectations of myself and other people. Nothing's really ever good enough. My mom used to say my balloon never lands, right? When I get to here, I always want to go there. But I've got a North Node in Capricorn that doesn't help me. But I just find it very sexy, y'all, with your mystery and Scorpios are very sexy people. And you can see it in their eyes. And I find it intoxicating. So thank you for being here on the planet. We love you. If you are a Scorpio moon, you're going to feel tonight more intensely. Sun, moon, rising. If you're not, you're still going to feel it. I feel it. I have no Scorpio in my chart. So, but I have great admiration and I'm excited that you're here tonight. So a couple things. We're making something amazing tonight. I'm so stoked about this craft. You know me, I love making stuff, but I'm a very practical person. My Venus is in Virgo. I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not a clutter person. I'm not like a make things just to make them person. I really like to make things that I'm going to use. And what we're doing tonight, what we're making tonight, which is black salt, but with some special herbs in it for protection and blessings. I use this all the time. I use about a jar every couple of months. And we gave you this cute little jar too, which I love. And then I would encourage you to label it yourself in some magical way. There's really fun labels you can get online, and anyway, have a blast labeling that. But yeah, so we're making black salt, and once I teach you about black salt, we gave you all the tools for it. If you don't have the tools for tonight, here's what I'm going to tell you. Backup plan is, because we gave you the black salt and we gave you the herbs. We gave you these little ingredients. Backup plan, because I like to tell you what you can do if you don't have the tools that I gave you in your kit. There's a kit every month, like there's a kit for next month. But if you don't have the tools for that I gave you, here's what I know you have in your kitchen, and you should go and get it. I would bet cold cash that you've got salt. Some kind of salt. Are you sexy and you have like French gray salt? Maybe like a Celtic sea salt? Or maybe you have a nice pink Himalayan, or maybe you have a kosher salt, which I love to cook with. Or maybe you have Morton's just straight out the box. I bet you do. And I bet if I was over there in your kitchen right now and I pulled open your little cabinets, I think what I would find too is some dried rosemary. Well, that will help us tonight. And so if you have nothing else, I want you to go and get any herbs in your kitchen that would count as protective. And while you're at it, maybe grab a little, bet you've got some mint tea, don't you? Cut that little bag open, honey. And let's use that mint tea. So I bet you got some things. I'm looking over your shoulder and I'm like, let's take you to your kitchen. And then get a cute little jar. If you don't have jars in your collection, it's hard for us to be friends, because I will tell you, and some of you understand this addiction, even when I make pasta and I empty like if I use canned jarred sauce, it's hard for me to throw the jar out. Like I still want to wash it and take the label off and reuse it. So if you're not like a weird jar person, I would encourage you to become one. Baby food jars were my favorite. When the kids were little, I collected their little baby food jars for like beads and crystals and all kinds of things. We are putting it in a jar. That's what I like to do. And the jar came with the kit. So if you don't have a jar, you don't have to put it in a jar. You can honestly, bare bones, put it in a Ziploc bag. I'm just telling you, there's a way to do tonight's ceremony, even if you don't have like the tools. But I will tell you, nothing replaces black salt. This black salt is Hawaiian. You can also get Himalayan black salt from India in the Himalayan ridge. They're both really great. Himalayan salt will be fantastic. The Himalayan ridge is very protective. The Hawaiian Islands bring their own magic, and Hawaiian black salt is sort of traditionally used to create black salt blends in protection ceremonies, rituals. If you practice witchcraft, spellcraft, which some of you do, which is great. So whatever tradition you work in, black salt probably matters. I'll tell you, even my mom growing up, we had something odd happen in our house. I won't go into details, but it was an issue. And my mom was a very magical person. And so we had something weird happen, and she called the minister out, and the minister brought salt. And as I recall, a couple of different kinds of salt, and actually mixed it with saliva and a little bit of soil from the yard, and did all kinds of fun things with it. So turns out even Christians use salt for protection. So I don't think you can escape it as a tradition. Yeah, and we will talk about the herbs that we're using. Now, I'm going to tell you that so let me show you what tonight's tools are. We also have Pandora's box, because, so I've got a lot to tell you tonight. I'm going to try to keep my wind up short, because I get to talk to you about Pandora, the evil eye. We're going to remove some energy with our Vogels tonight. We're going to mix a little bit of our Pandora perfume into the black salt. It's not for eating, it's for ritual. And then you have your beacon candle to light the way through the darkness of the new moon. Okay? Yeah, so I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you my version of the story, because the reality is, you ask 10 different people, they're going to give you 10 different versions of the Pandora myth. And this is how our incredible team here at SG imagined Pandora. Isn't she gorgeous? It's one of my favorite. I mean, I love our art pieces, and I have to say, I think our graphic designers and visual designers are the most talented in the world, but I have to say this is one of my favorite representations of Pandora I've ever seen. I'm so glad you like the kit. I am not like false in my enthusiasm with you tonight. I have been so looking forward to this ritual with you for so long, ever since we were like, black salt. We're gonna make black salt, and I'm like, oh my god. Finally, a craft we can use. Not that you don't use your other crafts, but this one you'll use all the time. So I'm gonna take just a little white sage, and I'm going to do a little cleansing of our jar. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. It's kind of like a 2-for-1. So first of all, we're going to clear the energy tonight. I'm going to tell you about the Scorpio new moon briefly. This new moon is not gentle. It is, I don't know if you've been feeling it. It's a sexy one. I have felt a little bit of like a pep in my step. So I don't know if you're feeling that too, but I felt a little sexier around this moon. But I also like I'm having to contain myself a little bit. You know, it's like a say what's on your mind, cut through the bullshit kind of moon. So, because that's how Scorpio is. They don't beat around the bush. So, and then while we're clearing everything else out, remember this is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. Clear out all your tools. Clear your Vogel off a little bit. Crystals hold energy, so it's just good just to prepare it because we're going to work with this to remove energy tonight. So let's clear it, and then we'll clear it when we're done too. And then in the jar it goes. And oh, how I love to see those jars fill up with the smoke. Do you see it? It just prepares the container to hold. Big magic tonight, y'all. And then I'm going to take a couple of these leaves, freshly burned. And I love the smell of sage, so I like to get it on my fingers. And it's got ash in there too, which is great for black salt. Just get the whole flippin' thing in there. So don't hurt yourself, but take a couple of leaves from where it's been burning. And when you, even a dried herb, once you pinch it and squeeze it, you release the whatever oil is left in it, and then your hands smell like it. Oh, I love working with all of these tools. It's my favorite thing. Okay, so Scorpio new moon, not on our best behavior. That's okay. That's not what this new moon is about. This new moon is about reorienting yourself to power in your life. If you've been in a place or position for, honestly, some people this last couple of like 18 months to 2 years, some people longer, some people not as long. If you've been in a position where you've been kind of giving your power away, tonight's a reclaiming. Tonight is a calling back to yourself and a releasing at the same time. So we're going to release everything that's in the way of us standing in our core power and truth. And then we're going to set intentions. We're going to call in how we want to reconnect with this idea of power. And I don't mean power over other people, right? I mean power with. Scorpio can sometimes be about power over. It's definitely about calling BS on some stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's an enough is enough kind of moon. So if that's where you are, and that can never be a bad thing. I subscribe to Pamela Anderson's email journal. I don't know if you do. I highly recommend it. I'm a writer. She's a poet. And every Monday morning, it's like my gift I wake up to in my inbox. I don't get anything for telling you that, but I highly recommend you subscribe to it. It's free. And this morning's poem was a little bit about this. And what she said in her poem was, if you don't think the same way other people do, which is what this new moon is all about. Which I don't. If you think right, I think left. If you say this is what the rules are, then I go do this other things. If you are like me and you don't think the same way other people do, you're probably going to be sometimes not received well, outcast, feel judged, even feel crazy sometimes. And what she said in her poem, she said this in her poem, and she said, you can be made to feel crazy if you don't think the way other people do. But you're no crazier than they are. whoever those people are who are judging you or, thinking you should be something else, they got their own stuff, right? Everybody's on the crazy spectrum. It's just like, what's your crazy, my crazy? So I think Scorpio too, one of the things I've noticed about you, right, is that you, because you're so authentic, we may not always like it, but we better respect it because you always are. It gives us kind of the freedom to be that way too. I find Aquarius does this for us too. They're so kind of in their own box and out of their own box that it's like, oh, that means I can do my thing too. So tonight is about all of those things. Fully stepping into your authenticity, owning your power, stopping caring so much, I guess, about like what other people think, and certainly calling an end to any circumstances that aren't really serving your divine power and truth, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's been a heavy time, guys. And listen, if you're having a great time right now in life, which I really hope you are, and it's all easy for you, just hold space for the fact that that's not true for everybody. I would say for me personally, and I have my finger on a lot of pulses because of the work that I do, as we have about 3 million people in our community across our different social media platforms. So I feel a lot of energy. I would say it's like 90% of people have something going on right now. They're not all going to tell you about it. Most people don't go to Facebook. I mean, some people do. But most people don't go to Facebook and go, here are all my problems. You know what I mean? So just because they're not saying anything doesn't mean hunky-doryville, right? So I'm very happy that you're here. Jess Wilson Parsons just had a birthday. Happy belated to you. No, it's super. I love my Scorpios. You guys bring the magic. There's no denying it. So the mixed herbs in your little bag that is right here is, and there's even a little bit more than that because there's some rose petals in here. Oh, actually, it does say rose. So there's rose petals, and take a little bit out in your hand is what I recommend to kind of connect with your herbs, and pinch it with your fingers. Again, that'll release the oil. So if you're like, I don't smell anything, just release a little bit with your hands. Burdock root, which is very purifying and cleansing. Burdock root and hyssop are associated with what we call the Holy Spirit. So what people in non-Christian circles call like divine white light, right? Or Christ consciousness is another like way of saying it, but Holy Spirit is sort of more accurate for me. It's sort of like an it's a light that's so strong that it burns through any darkness, right? So burdock root is that. Blue lotus, which activates your third eye or your pineal gland for intuition. Red rose for passion. Chamomile, which is going to relax you. You can see the chamomile little flowers in here, which is sweet. And then balm of Gilead, which is actually for invoking love, and specifically Eros, like sexy love. And we have to do that tonight too. It's a new moon in Scorpio. There's a very Morticia energy to this energy too. Yeah. Yes, there's little goodies in there. Yeah, and your salt bag has amethyst. It's not just pure black salt. Did you see that? You can see it as we pour it out, but it has amethyst in it, which I think is really cool. And you're gonna make a mess tonight. What I do is I make my herbs and crafts over paper, and then when I'm done, I take my paper and I turn it like that, and I pour all the remaining into my container so nothing gets lost. Yay! I love that, Christy. Well, I'm happy that you're here. And then in addition to that, you don't have to, but some of you have these other herbs from Sage Goddess. I am adding holy basil, which is also known as Tulsi, which in the presence of holy basil, all of the goddesses are summoned. I am adding hyssop, which is the protection herb that's mentioned in almost every sacred religious text and almost every tradition. I'm going to add some Damiana because that's an aphrodisiac. I'm not responsible for what happens to you when you work with Damiana. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cedar because that's kind of grandfatherly. I think of cedar as like a grandfather tree. So those are the additional herbs that I'm adding. If you have anything else, yeah. And Stacey, I went through a list of what you can use if you don't have the tools for tonight. So you can, Karen will kind of recap on that. I promise you've got stuff you can use to make. You may not be this exact thing, but you do. So I'm going to open my circle right away because Scorpio new moon is different. So happy that you guys are here. So, do you like it when I just call in the directions or when I drum in the directions? Some of you like one way and some of you like it the other way. That's my big old new moon drum with the malachite in the handle. And my friend in Ukraine. You can use anything you want. Come on now. As adults, like, isn't this how we play? I love imagining you in your kitchen going around and like opening your little spice cabinet or your big spice cabinet and going, ooh, I feel like I should use this and I should use this, and makes you feel like a little kid. Doesn't it? I'm here in service to you, and your intuition is always accurate. It'll never lead you astray. Drumming it is. Whew. Take a nice deep breath with me. Let's do that again. It's unanimous, isn't it? Tyler and Debbie and AR, Cindy. So glad you guys are here. If you can't hear your breath, it's not deep enough. I want to hear it. We're opening a big circle tonight, guides. We call in all spirits from all directions who are in service to our highest good. You all are welcome and invited here. As my teacher says, we welcome all the cool kids tonight from all the dimensional planes. So calling in the guides and the guardians of the East, new beginnings. We soar tonight on this new moon in the East, right? It's the direction of new beginnings, new possibilities, new cycle. You get a whole 28 days. What are you going to create? What are you going to build? And what are you going to shed? What are you going to release? Imagine eagle coming, hawk, and letting you put on its wings anything that isn't serving you tonight. Let those guides of the East carry it away. We welcome you here. Guides and guardians of the South, we face the direction of fire with courage and strength. We welcome you in tonight under this Scorpio new moon because you guide transformation. We're changing, we're shape-shifting, we're becoming, we're evolving. The whole species, right? As Darpan says, we're changing from Homo erectus to Homo celestus, right? A celestial being instead of a purely human Homo sapien, right? It's interesting. So in service to change, transformation, we welcome the guides and the guardians of the South. We turn west, guides and guardians of water. Thank you for the healing waters, purifying waters, waters of abundance, maternal energy in the West, unconditional love, helping us go with the flow, stop questioning. Welcome in the guides and the guardians of the West. To the guides and the guardians of the North, where we slow it down. Here we welcome in patience, peace, protection, perseverance, and power, knowing it's all going to be okay. As my teacher Lori says, if it isn't okay, it isn't over yet. Welcoming in the guides and guardians of the North, the guardians of the above, the within, and the below are here too. And so it is. Amen. Aho. So it is. Everybody's here. We here. Now, again, you don't have to make a mess tonight. I'm going to make a little bit of a mess because I'm going to throw a little pinch of my salt as I release energies tonight. So we're going to make our salt first, and then we're going to go through our aura, and we're going to really clear the energies of anything that's kind of stuck to us, and then we're going to use our salt to name everything that we're releasing, and then we will call in what we want to create, and I will talk to you about Pandora. Are you ready? So I'm going to I don't know what the best way to do this is. If I should change to the other camera, maybe so. No, I'm going to do it right here. Sometimes it's easier to craft over there, but because I'm going to be mixing and doing my thing, it's better to do it here. So, and just so you know, the oils in your Pandora blend, which we should light our candle to, if you have your candle. This one's a good one. I mean, they all are, but this one, the smell, the scent is so beautiful. So you can go ahead and light your candle if you have it. The notes of your candle, by the way, there's cedar wood, there's black amber. That's why it smells so sexy and seductive. And then the notes in your perfume are white lotus, mugwort, myrtle, which is for strength, stability, but also wealth and abundance. There's black hemlock. Mostly for grounding, but black hemlock is sometimes used in dark magic. We're not doing that tonight. It doesn't have dark properties. It's very, it's like having a bodyguard. It's a very powerful oil, and there's pure black hemlock in this blend. So we're going to put a little bit at our wrist to bless our actions, a little bit at our third eye to bless our vision, and a little bit at our ankles to bless our steps. And I'm going to tell you, yeah, Jan, if you end up not being able to see, I'll change cameras. Maybe I still will anyway. I'm going to tell you something. Pandora is my favorite new moon perfume of all time. Wait till you see how it makes your black salt smell. Seriously, I think that's why this black salt, which is made with Pandora, it almost smells like a bath salt, but all of those oils are natural. And so the white lotus, which balances the black hemlock, it's like having both hemispheres of your brain. You know, it's the light and the shadow. It's the in and the out. It's the yes and the no. So I'm going out on a limb and just saying, we've done a lot of new moon perfumes. If you didn't get Pandora, I think we have a few bottles of it left. And then it'll be a whole like cycle until we can make it again. So even if you didn't get the kit, you may want to go online later and just get Pandora. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras since it might be easier for you to see. And why not make our beautiful salt over Pandora herself? So here's all the ingredients, right? We have our holy basil. This is my existing blend. And I have a little tradition I'm going to teach you. So if you already have another black salt blend or you have another salt blend you want to do my little tradition with, you can do that. This is the cedar tips. And this is my hyssop. So those are all the things that are going into the blend tonight. Okay? You can choose to use whatever other ingredients you want to use. This is not a complicated craft, but it is an important one for intention. You have to be intentional as you blend. Okay, so the first thing I do whenever I make a new blend of salt or any kind of incense, if I've made it before, okay, get this out of here so it doesn't distract you. I take a little bit of the old blend and I put it in the bottom of the new jar so that a little bit of everything I make has a little bit of the next generation in it. By the way, I did this with Elder Council incense from like eons ago when we were in San Francisco. So even if you have the newer batch, it has some of the older batch in it. I just think there's cool, it's like a lineage thing for me, okay? And then what we need to do is blow our breath in the bottle to bless it. And think about what your intention for this black salt is. Black salt is used to protect your space. It's used to remove energy that you don't want in your space, and it's used to prevent energies that you want to prevent from coming in your energy field. So, your intention can be simply protection, removal. I don't love the word banish. I don't know why, it just doesn't resonate with me, but it creates it's almost like when you work with black salt, it's a physical manifestation of clearing. Okay? And purification on the highest level. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to put our black salt in first. This is the way I do it anyway. And we put it in a little bag for you because it's almost like a natural funnel. And I'm going to fill it up about just over halfway. And there's your amethyst. Did you see it? Went boop. Okay. Now, if you have a little spoon, if you have a wooden spoon from your jars, that's going to be helpful tonight. Or if you have like your bronzite spoon or another ritual spoon, that's going to be very helpful because it's almost going to allow you to, it's almost like a mortar and pestle, okay? Now, I'm going to put some, not all, of the herbs from the pouch. Remember, this is chamomile for relaxation. This is burdock, which is like Holy Spirit. This is rose for passion. And there's a little bit of your, which was the one I'm, oh, come on. Which is the one I'm blanking on? For calling in love. Balm of Gilead. We just talked about it. And so you can use one of your wooden spoons. And again, every time you push in, I do it with my right hand because that's your projecting hand. I'm sealing in those intentions. You can also use your finger. So love, white light, divine spirit, passion, intensity, desire, sexuality, all those things, right? Everything that you want to call in with those herbs. Then I'm going to add some of the hyssop. Again, hyssop is mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned in almost every major spiritual text for calling in the purest light so that nothing can harm. And then I'm using Damiana, which is an aphrodisiac. I'm going to, Damiana, like I said, a lot of herbs are more powerful when you pinch them a little bit as you put them in. And so now I'm sealing in my hyssop and my Damiana. And then holy basil, which invites every goddess, including Lakshmi. Since we are celebrating Diwali, I don't know what happened to my candle, but if you were with me in my class last night, I went live and showed you my Diwali setup at home. It was really fun. We did a little live, and I did a live on our Facebook group. And then cedar tips, which it's best to work with cedar by taking you want to watch out because it's a little scratchy. Breaking the tips a little bit. I'm just going to take like 3 or 4 of the tips. And then, because I don't like to put the branch in my salt. I don't really want to be dealing with that. And then, again, break it up with your fingers, but be gentle because it's a little pokey. Cedar has a temper. It's very masculine. I love it for its divine masculine properties. So those are kind of the base ingredients. And so I'm sealing in my cedar for the divine masculine. I'm sealing in all the goddesses. I feel like cedar and holy basil and hyssop call in every possible divinity that you could summon into this blend. Okay. And then I'm going to add my Pandora oil. And since we're in the 11th month, I'm going to do 11 drops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 also represents most of the archangels, including the minor archangels. It also represents all of the angel numbers and frequencies, so I like that too. Oh, I did put it in the wrong jar. Holy shit, I did. Sorry. I did put it in the wrong jar because I put my jar over here. What did I do with my jar? I'm totally serious. And I want it in my proper jar. Oh, I guess no, I didn't. I put it in the right one. But I put my last mixture in there, sorry. That's okay. I can't really make any mistakes. It is in the right jar, but I'm mixing in this jar. Let me get this out of here. Now I'm gonna have to replace my holy basil because there's too much going on in there. Okay. Then the last thing I'm gonna do is add more black salt to finish it off. That's what happens when you've got too many jars in your neighborhood. Now it's getting hard for me to get my finger in there, so I'm gonna have to do this with my spoon. Thank you for telling me, because otherwise I would have ended up making my whole blend in the other jar, which isn't a terrible thing, but it's the wrong label. Okay. Now I've got a little more room there. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the main flour, because I use this all the time, so I want to make sure it's full. And I want you to notice my hands. This is not a problem. I know. I know. Well, I should have, I should have probably done this sitting, but I wanted to make sure you could see well. It is a little, there's too many jars right in front of me, and okay, but this is perfect, and it smells like heaven. I want a little bit more of the oil in it. I can just tell by the consistency. I've been doing this a long time, and I just want it to be a little bit, I want the texture to be a little bit different, so you go with your judgment, but I can tell by mixing that I want it to be, it's a little too dry. And really get down there and mix the bottom of it too. I'm gonna mix a little bit more of this. And I'm feeling called just to add a little bit more of my existing blend in there. And then now, just calling it all in together. So protection, desire, intimacy, sexuality, creativity, protection from all directions, all sources. And then the last step, yeah, holy basil 2.0. I mean, honestly, like, that wouldn't be the worst thing. Holy basil is super protective. Do you grow it? You have to grow it near the entrance to your home. I have two. I have one on the left and one on the right. I put it on the left and put it on the right. So I dry my own holy basil, which is kind of nice too. And holy basil is easy to grow. It's just hard to find. But you can find the plants online, on eBay and stuff, and Etsy. Okay, can I just show you how pretty it is? Can you see how pretty it is? You see all the little crystals and the little crystals of salt and the little flowers and herbs? Okay. Basil and holy basil are different. Very different. Now, the black on your fingers, do you know what it is? Does anybody know what the black on your fingers is? Pop quiz. While we're shaking. Tulsi Devi. That's right, Julie. Calls in all the goddesses. So you should always plant rosemary near the entrance to your house. You should always plant holy basil near the entrance to your house. If you have just a little patio, just, do pot gardening, right? You don't have to put it. It's activated charcoal. Yeah, it's charcoal. So it's really good for you. Did you know that activated charcoal, have you ever had an upset stomach and taken activated charcoal? It gets rid of gas and bloating. It really helps if you have like food poisoning. It's an absolute detoxifier. So there can be volcanic ash, but there's also charcoal in there, which is super, super good for you. Okay, now I want you to smell it. Do you love that smell? I'm telling you, it's like my favorite thing. So good. And you could use that in your bath, by the way. If you want to do like a purification bath, you could totally put your black sea salt in there. Yes. Well, the color comes from lava, and it comes from other things too, but there's charcoal in there, which is my favorite internal purifier. It's so good for your body, but it's good for your spirit too. Now, I want you to take your Vogel. It's nice too if you can dip the, this is one of the ways I use my black salt, is to dip the wide end of your Vogel into the salt, because you're going to be gathering up energy that you don't want. And this is a perfect way actually to clear your Vogel when you're done. So you can just keep it on your altar and just boop, boop, every time you do any kind of cleansing ceremony. It smells so good. Okay, so here's how you do, because we don't have 10 hours for this. I honestly could teach like tonight's class as a day-long, almost like a retreat, because there's so much to tell you. But we're going to do a quick clearing tonight. So I call this the double axis clearing. I love to do it with a Vogel. A Vogel is different. You gather energy with the wide end and you release it with the narrow end. See how there's a wider end called the feminine end, and there's a more narrow end called the masculine end. So the double axis means you go from left to right and you go from front to back. And you scoop. So I want you to visualize your aura for just a second, meaning just the 2 feet outside of your body, which is this web of energy where we all interact and it gets full of gunk. That's why your charcoal is so good for it. And I want you to visualize anything in that field right now, meaning your thoughts, your experiences, just even your gut, like what's going on with you physically in your gut, but also your intuition. Anything that needs to be extracted, which is what we're doing tonight. And then focus in on those energies for just a second. You feel your hands get warm. It's amazing how it's like the energy's there, but your hands get warm because you start to coagulate it, right? So we're gonna go left to right, and we're gonna scoop as far as you can reach, up and over and to the right, and then we release to an element. You can release to, and I'm going to do this tonight, you can release to the flame of your candle. If your table's made of wood, you can release to the table. If you have blessed water, you can release to the water. I don't have that. Or if you want to burn something, you can release to smoke, earth, air, fire, water. Okay. Then we're going to go front to back. Okay. And I'm sending so much love to you guys. We're actually in the perfect part of tonight's ceremony for you to get in there and release whatever energy is holding you back tonight. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for the collective. So we're going to go from the front of you, scoop, 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 all the way back. Keep scooping as far back as you can behind you. And then release. Again, to the flame. You can release to the salt. The salt is not going to hold that energy. The salt purifies, so it's okay to release it. You can release it to the wood, you can release it to the water, you can release it to the smoke. You scoop with the big end, you release with the narrow end. Okay? Now, this is where we're going to make a mess. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. Maybe you're a very tidy person. I am, but I still like to throw salt. It's the Mediterranean in me, I think. Okay, so I want you to think of each thing that you're releasing tonight. Get your finger in that salt. Think about it. What are you releasing? Could be just an emotion that you're feeling that's too dense for you to hold anymore, right? Okay, and I want you to, this is what I do, take it and throw it as far as you can out of your field, okay? And, you know, just throw it evenly. I mean, treat all of the corners of your room to a little pinch. If you have animals, though, you know, you might want to just throw it onto a piece of paper and then vacuum that up, right? But I don't have animals here, so I'm going to this feels so good, doesn't it? Throw that shit away. What are you releasing? You can tell us if you want. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Now, those are just some of the ways that you can use your black salt to clear your wand. So go in there with your wand now. We've done our clearing for tonight. You can throw it. You can add it to your bath. And then we didn't label this for you because you could call this anything you want. You know, it's your, you know, it's your F off kind of jar. toss it and forget it. Be gone. Be gone blend, whatever you want to call it. You should write it in some fancy handwriting too. Oh. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye. Okay. Now, that is the bulk of that part of the work tonight. What we need to do now is work with our box. Now, I like to keep my black salt in my box. Okay? Once I finished it. And I like to keep my Vogel in my box too. Because that is, and you have to turn it on the side to make it work, but that is, it becomes your sort of ultimate protection and clearing. Oh, you can totally soak your feet in it. Your feet and your hands, by the way, are where energy enters your body. You know this, right? Hands, feet, and the top of your head. It's where energy leaves and it's where energy comes in. Your soul came into your, when you were forming in your mother's womb, came in through your soft spot, and your soul will exit that soft spot when you die. So the top of your head, the crown chakra, is actually a very important place. But it's kind of nice just to keep all your protection tools in one place. And if you have other protection tools, they can go in here too. The here's the Legend of Pandora, the quick version. And then we're going to set our intentions for tonight. Zeus, who's my father, NBD, Athena's father, of course the king of the gods, got really mad at human beings. And do you know why he got mad? Because he thought that we mortals stole fire from Prometheus. Which, you know, technically we did. We had good intentions for it. But anyway, Zeus got mad. And so he ordered Hephaestus to create Pandora. Pandora in Greek means all the gifts. Okay? Pan, like everything. Dora's gift. So Pandora was blessed with all of the gifts, including the not so good gifts. So Pandora can help us clear and banish and, you know, remove unwanted energy, because she's very powerful. But she can also call in, we did need it. Listen, Zeus has to cut us a break. What would we have done without fire? But anyway, so he sent us Pandora. Well, Pandora had a box. This is the legend. Her box was called the Pythos. And in the Pythos was every evil, right? Every thing that can cause harm. But there was also every gift, every blessing, which is why it's such a powerful new moon light shadow tool. So the legend is when she opened the box, right, she was releasing everything from the box, including anything harmful, and letting it go. And that when she was done, when she had opened her box, after everything else was gone, do you remember the legend? What was left? And I'll give you a hint. It's the reason why these doves are here, because they represent the one thing that was left in Pandora's box, which is hope. When all else is gone, when everything else was released, every gift that she had was used, what she had left in her box was hope. So this is your hope box. And I want you to always open it and go, I can release anything that isn't serving me. And then you can also put tools in here that represent attraction. Like I could imagine you putting some of your, I don't know, your attraction tools in here, or your, I don't know, a piece of apophyllite, or even a little bit of honey. Like add some honey to the jar if you wanted to call in blessings. You could put sweetgrass in here. You could put citrine in here to attract wealth, or you could put rose quartz in here to attract love. So this becomes both of your hope and your box of hope and sorrows, darling. Because the universe is both. So what we're going to do right now is I want you to, now you can write things down, which is always powerful, but I journal, so I'm not going to write it down. But you can also use visualization. So if you have your box, you can do this into your box. If you don't have your box, I just want you to close your eyes or write things down. I want you to focus. Scorpio has this really powerful alignment with the triangle. Okay. Because Scorpio doesn't represent just death and rebirth, but it represents the cycles of life too. It's like this, I've always thought of Scorpio as this triangle, right? And the number 3 is sacred in all the magical traditions, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So I want you to focus on 3 things you want to call into your energy field now. We've cleared everything out that isn't serving you. We took our black salt and told it all to piss off. So now that everything is pissed off in the best possible way, I want you to, and you can write, actually, you could write them down and put them in your box on little slips of paper. But just for now, what are the 3 things you really want to call in this next cycle? If we talk a month from now and you say, that was a great month for me, why will it be great? Because I blah and I blah and I blah. So I'm going to go quiet for a minute. I want you to focus on your 3. I'm feeling called to like gather 3 like sage leaves, or 3, what do I need to do what I'm being asked to do? Yeah, I think just 3 sage leaves maybe. 1 to represent each of the things I'm calling in this month. If you have bay leaves, that'd be good too. Put those in there. You ever done that? Write your wishes on bay leaves. It's very powerful for that kind of magic too. Okay, first leaf. Second leaf. That one felt really good. If that one comes, I'll be really happy. When that one comes, I'll be very happy. And then I have to say, in manifestation terms, it's already here and I'm already happy. And then the third one. You good? Yeah, you can always write on bay. Bay is good. Bay is the go-to. If you ask most magical practitioners, hey, what should I write on? Bay leaves. Bet you have those in your kitchen. You got more in your kitchen than you think you do, honey. Everybody does. And they're like, I'm so surprised. I didn't realize I had all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you're magic. Because you're magic. Rub that charcoal into your skin. It's good for you. Yeah, it's a hope chest. Isn't that fun? And you could, yeah, like I said, Bridget said she's going to create one, or call this one, or you could make your own. And I'm going to tell you something. You guys are so creative. If you have a shoebox, honestly, you could decorate it. You could cover it in paper and paint the evil eye symbol on it and stuff, or paint a dove on it. Just get your little ones together. Get your crafting on. How do you feel? Can you believe that was our work for tonight? I don't know about you. I just always feel like, but I just want one more hour. Honestly, we could have really gone on and on and on tonight, right? We could have done a visualization around, like, what would it mean for you to be Pandora, right? For you to, everything in you, and we could even just do that right now before we release the guides and the guardians. Like, just imagine, go into your energy field again, right? We did the double axis tonight. Go into that energy field now and imagine what it would feel like if anything dense there could just be, released. And selenite's good for this too. Like, just cutting through anything in your field that just needs to be released. And going through the hemispheres, or the axes points, right? So anything that's dense, if you felt it in your body, for me it always hits the solar plexus, but some people it like hits different parts of their, it's like, just go through and just cleanse it. This is the time, right? And then again, release to the element. Don't put your selenite in fire. It's not as sturdy as quartz and the other stones, but you can release to wood, or you can release to air. Or me and my damn jar tonight. I swear to good. Oh, that's in my box. That's why. Get your, anytime you release, like, make it part of your, And that's why you may end up making 2 jars, one to keep in your box and one to hold on, I want to break my nail. One to keep on your altar because you're going to want to use it all the time. It's a very secure box. But always, when you're done clearing with your tools, just into the salt it goes. And like I said, you don't have to worry about cleansing and clearing this. You cleared the jar with white sage. I put broken up white sage leaves in here, so, and it's got hyssop in there. And the other herbs in the blend. Burdock root. Burdock root literally is like the holy mother in an herb form. Okay. You ready to release the guides and the guardians? Let's just send up those intentions too and just ask that, again, all guides and guardians take those intentions. In the east, they take them on eagle's wings and hawk's wings. In the south, they burn through them so that the smoke rises, right? Because it's element of fire. In the west, the guardians of the west take your intentions and your dreams, your visions, and they take them out on the waves, right? So that the tide washes them out toward the bigger oceans. And in the north, they take your visions and your intentions and they solidify them, right? They climb to the top of those big trees and hold them there. It's a very secure sort of an attachment to everything that you desire. So like letting each one of those guides and guardians, like let the east take it on the winds, and let the south take it on the smoke, and let the west take it on the waves, and let the grandfathers in the north take it in their embrace and hold you in the big trees, and let them attach to it for you, solidify it for you, right? Love all of that. Give it to the angels, right? And just say, angels, take it. And then take it into your heart, right? Receive all of those things. So the guides and guardians of the above and the within, and then the below. Give it to the ancestors' bones. Bury it down in the earth with them, right? Give it to the crystals that are still growing in the caves, and let them begin to vibrate and magnify the frequency, right? Like, whew, all directions. You feel it? Yeah, selenite doesn't need cleansing, but I'll tell you something. If you're doing the big work, I still clear everything. I mean, black salt for me, I've had a jar of black salt in this office since I moved in. I had a jar of black salt in my old office at the other building. I have a jar of black salt in my ceremony room at home. I am never without it. I've been gifted black salt many times by different practitioners, which is really an honor. And then I mix a little bit of theirs into mine. So every time I get a new batch, like my favorite gift is to get a container of black salt from someone that they made by hand. I just think that's the coolest thing. So give it as a holiday gift. It's the one thing they don't have, right? So thanking and releasing, we always begin where we left off. So thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians beneath us, within us, and above us. Thank you to the ancestors. Thank you to our community. And thank you to the angels and guides above. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the north for patience, perseverance, and peace. Thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the west for purification, beauty, cleansing. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the south, purification, courage, transformation, strength, cycles. And thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the east for new beginnings, new visions, new possibilities. All things working for the highest good. Amen, aho, and so it is. All the extra salt on my papers. Don't like to waste. Into the jar it goes. And an extra shaky shake. And then, once your candle wax is hard, you can keep your candle in your box too. But I would encourage you to burn that candle. And honestly, I would encourage you to keep this salt out, like I said, and use it. You can always make more. If you have your Pandora perfume, I wouldn't squander this. Like I said, we don't have a lot of it. So I would keep that for making new batches of black salt. This would be my dedicated black salt blend. It will be for me now. So I hope it will be the same for you. So with that, all the cool kids go back home. Thank you guys for being here. So grateful for you. If you've been appreciating or admiring my necklace tonight, I am giving it away. After tonight, actually. This is a gorgeous rutilated quartz and sterling silver necklace with a sapphire evil eye on the front. I thought it was very apropos given our box design. I have worn it probably 100 times, and I'm giving it away to one of you. And all you have to do to enter to win it is purchase the next set of ceremonial tools. I'm going to grab them for you really quickly to show you. This is, did you see this, what we're making next month? Next month is my favorite new moon because it's Sagittarius and it's on 12/12, which is a hugely powerful portal date, cycle completion. And so we're going to be making, you get the lunar macrame. It's basically like a dream catcher. Comes with the labradorite, comes with these LED labradorite. Isn't that cool? These are little labradorites on LED. So when you hang it, it lights up. And you get all the string, you get a ball of twine, and then you also get sari ribbons, plus you get your candle and your perfume to hang in your space after our ceremony is complete. Isn't that awesome? Oh yes. So it's a Sag new moon coming up. Your discount code for tonight, I don't have right in front of me, but Karen will tell you what your I think, I don't want to say it if I'm wrong. Karen will tell us, and she will link to the kit too. So if you purchase the kit before midnight tonight at sagegoddess.com, then one of you is going to win that necklace, and it will come to you with your kit. Isn't that cool? 12/12 is your husband's birthday. 12/13 is your birthday. I love my Sagittarians, and that's a magical time. Venom is your code for 22% off. Yeah, I didn't want to say the wrong code. And the link is in your bio to purchase your kit if you would like to go and get it. And I hope you will, because we're gonna have so much fun making this together. So again, what you're actually gonna get with the tools, it will look like this when your kit comes. And then we are going to macrame together. Isn't that gonna be fun for our crafting? And then your string lights come, and we're gonna weave the lights into the crescent moon. I will have gotten mine started, but we're actually gonna do a little video tutorial on how to macrame. Talked about that with Merlin on my team today, who is the goddess of all things kit making. She actually made this one. So we were talking about, wouldn't it be fun to do just a little video tutorial for you to get you started? And then every time we tie another piece of our thread or our sari, we're going to be setting our intentions that way. So each intention will have its own thread. And when you hang it, it will bring that energy into your space. Isn't that fun? So happy new moon in Scorpio tonight. Hold the vibration. Remember, the new moon is my favorite moon phase, but it is sticky. You've got to stay focused because you're attracting whether you realize it or not. You're already co-creating the next cycle. So keep your thoughts and vibrations as high as possible. It's not easy when it's Scorpio, because Scorpio is kind of the opposite of that. Scorpio wants to get down and dirty, but try to rise above. And then we'll see you coming up for our new moon in Sagittarius next month. So make sure you get your tools. And then Wednesday, we have class. If you're in Living Magic, I get to see you. You're always welcome to join anytime. Somebody was asking about classes. sagegoddess.com/livingmagic if you'd like to take classes with me online. That's always fun. But these events are my offering to you. They will be for as long as I teach. I always do free full moon, free new moon, and free high holiday events on YouTube, plus some free classes through the year as a gift. It's really a thank you to you for being part of our community. We become like a little global family in so many ways, and so I'm always here in service to you on those days, even if you're not in classes. It's wonderful to have you here. All right, have a good night. Thank you to Team SG for all your hard work behind the scenes. Takes a village, as I always say, so thank you to them for all that they do, and really so many blessings at this new moon, and also happy Diwali. We'll see you soon.